Everything can be an inspiration, really, if you let it. If your heart and soul are open to life, and you want to just process the beauty of life and give it back in your own creative way.
All right, so here we are with Tim Palmieri of Lotus. Man, so glad to have you on here. How's it going, Tim?
It's going great. Thank you.
So Tim, to start this off, got some questions here for you. Looking back at this past year, I'm curious, like, how do you feel like playing with the guys in Lotus has caused you to become a better musician?
They have caused me to really pay attention to details. Not that I didn't before, but I guess in different ways, sonically, it's very important whether it's like a light crunch or a little more crunch than that, or the reverb is a little more, but it should be a tiny bit more than that. So I like that kind of attention to detail sonically. And then also, the way they produce their songs, the layers, the way everything's linking and leads up into it. Great song structure. It's taught me a lot about just different song structures, because I almost want to say, although I'm into prog music and I've written songs that are 15 minutes long, section, comes back to here. Sometimes I get a little stuck in like old school verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, And so their song structures really have opened up my eyes. Yeah.
I'm curious with you how you've struck a balance between like fitting into the Lotus sound, but then also making it like entirely your own.
I still feel that's the goal. That's the achievement. Now, everyone, all the fans and even the band could be like, you've done it. I'm not there fully with my own standards. I'm pretty much there, but I still, there's more to perfect here, and I'm definitely I'm being more minimalist than I ever have been on guitar. I come from the shredder rock jazz fusion school a little bit more. So I'm being more minimalist, and the goal is, how do I achieve my musicality and the spiritual thing that I'm looking for with guitar? How do I achieve that through minimalism? And that's been fun with the jams and throwing my energy in there. And it's gonna be a constant process, where I call it assimilation, because here's a band existing for 20 years, and now I come in and want to like encapsulate everything that's happened, be who they need me to be now, and then I need to be me now moving forward. And it's so it's a lot of forces going on, but it's going well. And so far a success rate.
You mentioned minimalistically playing guitar, but also trying to go to that like spiritual place.
Yes.
That like quintessential musical moment through like a minimalistic approach. I'm curious, how do you approach? What is that like? Can you like be a little more specific with what you're referring to?
Yeah. Well, it depends. It's so interesting, because my band Kung Fu, we would play really fast tempos and everyone's filling in a lot of notes. So I almost felt like I played minimalist in that. When it came to rhythm, when it came to soloing, it's your time to solo, run with the ball. But when it came to rhythmic playing, I'm like, okay, soloist is going, bassist doing that, drums are doing this, keyboard's doing that. Where do I go? And I would just do minimalistic stuff like, 1, 2, 3, 4, baguette, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, baguette, And let's just say that was the perfect latch. It was like I found the one hole in all of that sound. Now you stay at that part of the bar, and then you add notes around it, so you're almost existing in a certain position in an amount of 2 bars or 4 bars that is like this natural, gap in what's happening. So I'm trying to do the same thing in this band when it comes to rhythm playing. I will still do that kind of just like surgical, interject a note here or there. But a lot of the times with their stuff, there's not a ton of rhythm and guitar playing. I'm usually soloing, and it's a lot of group soloing. So I just approach it the same way. I'm listening to everyone and where is the natural space for me to fill, and then throw your notes in. So, and it being me, like, even if that space is 2 beats, I could throw 8 notes in the 2 beats. I'm trying to throw 4 notes in those 2 beats, or 2 notes in those 2 beats, things like that. So that's one aspect of the minimalism that I could approach with a certain amount of bars, just being like that, owning my space. And then when you find the space and everyone locks into that, then you move together. As I add notes, they are understanding because they found their spot. I'm in my spot, they're in their spot, and then together we move. And another thing, minimalism that I'm trying to do that Mike Rempel told me about was thinking macro. It's like, yeah, we all want to be minimalist. Okay, I'm only going to use 4 notes, but I said what? 4 notes and 2 beats. You could do 4 notes in 1 bar, 4 notes in 2 bars, 4 notes in 4 bars. I mean, that's like really taking 4 notes and stretching them out over a long amount of time. And that's cool too, because it's almost like a tone poem when you hear 4 notes, that no one transcribed what I just sang, by the way. But you do that, people get used to that. So now you're just boom, go. You know what I mean? So I stretched it out, and it's still like they know what to expect to hear, but you start playing with that rhythmically over a longer space, and it's cool stuff.
I'm curious, like, as a fan, before you joined the band, what aspects of Lotus music, apart from the minimalism, did you most admire?
Man, I admired Rempel so much because, we went on the road with those guys, 2014 with Kung Fu, and we would open the show, and then we would just party the rest of the night and enjoy ourselves around Lotus fans. And I remember one night especially, I think I told the guys about this, and Rempel, is that I think it was the Georgia Theater in Athens. And I remember just, spotlight coming down on him, he playing the solo, and I'm like, man, this is going great. At the end, everyone applauded. I was just like, what control? It was just beautiful, And he does that all night, tons of solos, and just taking everyone on a narrative of his own design. And so I just loved their use of the guitar as a lead instrument. Granted, they're playing with synths and writing for the whole band, production wise, but man, the guitar is still the leading voice, which is awesome. Instrumental guitar songs followed by solos, and and clean too. Like, what I appreciate about them is their dynamics, how they would just use sounds to create tension and release, or volume for tension and release. So yeah, their dynamics have always been wonderful. And then I'm just always impressed, and have always been impressed by their technical aspect of using gear and stuff like that. I remember one sound check coming in, and Jesse's like connecting his pedals to the lights and was doing that. And I'm like, okay, I'm lucky if I hit the right pedal or step on it correctly, and stuff like that. So he's always been attuned to the technical side of things.
You bring up tension and release, and the way Lotus flavor of that. I'm curious, like, from your perspective, what about tension and release can have such a major impact on the listener?
Well, that's a deep question. I mean, that's so conceptual, but tension and release, yeah, it's important. Because it makes the release so sweet. So it's important, but yeah, I mean, tension release can happen rhythmically. It could happen melodically, harmonically. It could happen with song structure too. The whole song could be like really busy, and then it's like woof, at the end, and it could, so it's contrast ultimately, tension and release. And I think we all need contrast to appreciate the other side. The grass is always greener kind of vibe. But yeah, I mean, upon the listener, tension might be appreciated. some people want that. They don't want just easy going, they want to be pushed a little bit. And then some people don't want that at all. So tension release only is going to work for some. I will say, I guess in all music though, whether they like it or not, there's going to be bigger tensions and releases, that's the thing. It's like I could go really dark on a chord and resolve it, or it could be like a simple chord with just one note extension, like a dominant 7. And to the average listener, might be all the tension they need. Like, okay, oh, what was that note? Oh, it brought me here to this release, So you're a guitar player, and musicians out there, you're on a C major, C major, yeah. And then you add a flat 7, da, da, da. Now it wants to go to the 4 chord, and now I feel it release, But yeah, not everyone's going to know that. But that one note just was like, oh, something's up. And then, so absolutely necessary. And hopefully musicians just keep on playing with that to turn people on to music, because I just don't know about much tension in popular music nowadays. To me, it seems very, cookie cutter theoretical, kind of like 1-6-4-5 and major based. I mean, like I listened to a Drake record the other day for an experiment. I think the Lotus guys were talking about it. And I basically listened the whole thing, but it was just him talking with auto-tune, So it was like pick a scale and he's talking and it's just moving the notes around. And it's like, there's nothing there. And I don't know. There was no tension. It was just wandering. It was aimless, versus something structured theoretically. But it suits other people's musical taste. So there you go.
Well, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Just want to let y'all know we've got these hand-dyed, ice-dyed Weird Music podcast tees, and we're also going to be making some sweatshirts. So if you'd like one, let us know. We'd love to get you one. Also want to give a big shout out to the geniuses over at Thrax CBD for sponsoring this show with their amazing products. Got a link in the description. Also, big thank you to our sponsor, J&J Distribution, Ohio's premier CBD and Delta 8 wholesale supplier. Retailers, check out their brands Kush Burst, 3Chi THC Edibles, and CBD MD. And also want to give a big thank you to our local print shop, Franklinton Press. If you need any custom merch or custom printing, hit them up. They'll take good care of you. We got links in the description. And yeah, much love, y'all. Now back to the show. I want to jump a little to the side here.
Sure.
So, like, looking at your career, being, crowned Lotus new guitarist, playing big festivals in front of thousands of people, out of all the career success you've had, I'm curious, like, looking back, what do you think's brought you the most fulfillment, maybe aside from your success?
Well, I guess the fulfillment would be just really playing a good show and having it resonate with folks. I mean, or my music changing people's lives for the better. That's always nice when people say that. My music isn't, God's gift to composition or anything, and certainly hasn't made me super successful, but I've poured my heart into it. And so that energy has, reached other folks and made their days better and or lives, or brought them together with a lover, things like that usually fulfills me a lot. But then there's those career accolades of like, you got to jam with this guy and you got to jam with this person. And those are always great. Or you got to play this venue, and historic festival and stuff like that. And those are great too. But, everything could be fleeting. So I'm still always just looking for that righteous jam and then wanting to write something that just, is long lasting. So
that's like what I'm asking, like living this rock star lifestyle, but everything is fleeting. So you have this very much, you're face to face with, all that glitters is not gold kind of thing.
Yeah.
From your perspective, like I'm interested, what resonates most regarding that?
Yeah. Music. Music. I mean, granted, I do want people out there in the crowds though, but I've played for 7 people and have had a deep experience. And I've played for a lot of people and walk off stage just feeling small and just like, it didn't work and no one liked it, you know, kind of vibe. Yeah, I mean, I played for a sold out house opening up for the Wailers with my band Psychedelic Breakfast in Chicago, House of Blues, packed house. I mean, we're a prog rock band opening up for a reggae band. That crowd was not happy with me or my compositions or my guitar solos or my singing. They were not happy at all. So yeah, numbers isn't always the thing, you know.
Hmm.
Quality over quantity for sure. But I still feel I have I have more to do still. I don't think I've really achieved all the goals that I set out to when I first wanted to be a professional musician. I have on a ton of fronts, don't get me wrong, it's going, but I still have some more goals. So, keep writing, keep jamming, keep making music. That's my fulfillment,
Tim, I want to talk about your stage presence next, and like your tenacity when you're ripping a solo. Like, can you talk about where you draw your confidence from?
Ooh, good question. Confidence. Well, secretly all guitar players are very self-conscious. So I am confident in my rock solos, absolutely. But I guess my confidence comes from you still have to push harder, you still have to take it to the heights. And yeah, my confidence just comes from that joy of playing music, of playing rock guitar and playing the right licks and hitting the right notes at the right times, And if I don't do it, if I don't hit the right notes, I keep being like, all right, go to the, new idea, go. And then it's like, yes, I got it. Then it's like, hold on. And then you try to, ride that wave once you find it, once you got your entrance and it's settled. Yeah, confidence, Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen. But confidence is also, it doesn't always have to be shred either. It could be intellectual and jazz like. It could be Schofield and Mike Stern, people like that. But I usually like it to come from the meat and potatoes a little more. I sort of want to shut off and then just let it go. And yeah, depending on the song, that could be gentle or it could be ferocious. But I guess, yeah, the confidence is like, well, it's a combination of everything I just said. And it's like all the people that I've studied and, put into my musical vocabulary. But yeah, like, I guess I'm confident in my energy that I am ready to entertain every person in front of me, no matter what it takes. Yeah.
Jumping just a little to the side there, can you talk about your kind of mental disposition, your mental approach, how you are when it's like, okay, we don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. Let's improvise.
Okay. For Lotus,
Yeah.
well, definitely good to just let it simmer first. Let all the, just let the space clear almost. Because with their songs, there's a lot of content there on all the instruments. Everyone's doing specific parts and it fits that puzzle perfectly. So when it comes to the jam, it's sort of like just let Jesse and the drums and whatever synths they're playing like settle. Then take a deep breath and just be like, boom, start with that one note, see how it goes. And like I said, it's minimalism. So, I already have to like tell myself no to 10 ideas. Because I could easily come into a jam, but like it should just be. So, from all those notes I sang, I whittled it down to like 6, So there's a little of that going on, but it's not like watch Tim battle with himself live on stage and, eyes are twitching and, I'm pulling my own shirt collar neck, like, what are you thinking about? Nothing like that. But yeah, in the instant, in the couple of seconds of me getting my bearings, all right, guitar's in tune. Oh, okay, yeah, this is nice. Oh, everyone's having fun. Okay, here we go. and then you're in, you know? Yeah. And it's really like, so, you know, imitation is a part of listening. Like I could be imitating a Luke line or a Jesse line, but that gets stale quickly. You know, I'm really looking for more complimenting, you know, I really want to just be like, where are they? And I am going to exist in the other part of the bar, or pitch, you know, if Jesse's low, but these synths are occupying here, then I'm going to play some top notes, you know, but then if the synths are real high, Jesse's here, I'm going to operate here. You know, that's a good tip for any guitar player because, you know, we have a small spectrum bandwidth of frequency at our disposal, then piano dwarfs that. Piano's that wide versus us. So automatically every guitar player on stage should listen to the piano and dance around him with pitch, you know, be higher or lower than where he is.
You alluded to this a little bit. Your tug of war with perfectionism, whether that's with songwriting, improvising, whatever that might be. I'd love for you to kind of like take me into your mind a little bit and explain like what that's like ditching ideas and like, is a song ever finished? And just like as an artist, how you grapple with that.
Oof. Well, grappling with that's going to be a constant thing. Sometimes I just got to tell myself to shut up, you know, that's the main thing. And just trust myself too. There's a little of that, you know, where early on in my career, I should say growing up, all I did was trust myself, just right. And then as you get out there, people are like, oh, you know, you don't want to read too many reviews on your stuff, that's for sure. But it'd be like, oh, this about them and their vocals or lyrics or song structure, song length, guitar solos too long, all these things. And that started making me be all, you know, oh, well, now I don't know if I want to do what I want to do because no one's going to like it, you know? And then you start throwing those thoughts in your writing process, and it really just poisons everything, you know? And that could force perfection to be a quest you're never going to finish. You know, you're never going to finish the song because it could always be more perfect because you're worrying about everyone else versus like satisfying you, you know? And at the end of the day, you satisfy yourself, who the hell cares, you know? I mean, even if they hate it, you got to stand like, I wrote the tune, I stand by it, I'm on to the next tune. Hopefully you guys will be too, you know, kind of vibe. It's so fleeting, you know, but yeah, perfectionism is a good thing at the same time. I mean, you know, that's why I love notes, you know, and care about them and have stored them in this brain so much. And so I always want to be close to perfect as possible, but I have to accept the dirt in my life more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even Paul McCartney, you know, it's so funny. We listen to his tracks in the Beatles like they're perfection. This is perfect. But if you listen to Let It Be, there's clearly a piano mistake, you know, in the third verse, I believe. I mean, it is a sour chord, completely wrong. And it's there for us to hear every single time it's played on the radio. You know what I mean? That's so crazy to me. I'm like, here's this song that is an absolute hit, and it's got one ugly wrong chord, completely audible, playing all the time. They didn't even fix it. You know, they left it on the track. You know, sometimes the imperfections are what people dig most, you know, who wants something super stale all the time, you know, so thank you for asking this question because I've given myself therapy on it. I feel better about myself now.
Well, let's see about this. We talked about attention a little bit earlier. And beyond that though, I'd love to hear from you why you love darkness in art beyond just tension.
Darkness in art. Well, you know, I don't like things as dark as, you know, some people like. I do like heaviness, but there's a limit to the heaviness. I don't want, you know, that kind of screamo death metal where you can't understand a vocal line or even the guitar lines. I still like Metallica and Pantera where I'm able to discern guitar riffs and stuff versus like sludge. But then, you know, and then there's darkness and like 12-tone scale Schoenberg stuff and people like that, where, you know, I could appreciate it theoretically, but I don't know if it's listening music per se, you know?
So what can you say about most effectively using darkness as like a tool?
Well, darkness, you know, we aren't always happy, so we have to have some sadness and some darkness. So it's a great contrast, you know. I love that about Radiohead. Anyone who starts listening to Radiohead is usually depressed for a good amount of time. Yeah, because their chord progressions are just not normal and dark, a lot of minor chords. And I guess that it just appeals to us, you know, because some days we're just sad. I don't want to listen to, you know, Good Day Sunshine. I want to listen to How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead, you know? And so, yeah, I think darkness in music is, they're going to be the non chord tones and the, you know, just some of the chromatic notes not in your scale, you know, and if done right, they make sense, you know. The thing is, you could approach it from like the schooled train of thought, you know, like I know this scale and I know I could use this and then resolve it here. But man, some of the best darkness has been just people picking up the guitar and playing, you know. Kurt Cobain didn't go to school for that, you know. Paul McCartney really didn't go, or John Lennon certainly didn't, and yet he wrote "I Want You," "She's So Heavy," and "Because," and those songs are beautiful. But man, there's some dark chords in there, you know. So it's wonderful to just let your ear sort it out. And me being musician I am and the technician, I love analyzing it, and I'll just like constantly try to reverse engineer. What the hell were they thinking when they did that? Like, I love these two chords. I can't believe they put these two together. These shouldn't go. Why are they going? I don't know. You know, so it's fun and necessary, to answer your question.
Now, my next question, what would you say is the most impactful lesson you've learned about like navigating out of a creative rut when life might seem gray?
Well, everyone's got their own little tricks. God, I could answer this 1,000 ways because, you know, I'm into all the self-help books and, you know, musician books, and I love reading about that stuff, you know. And the first thing would just be work, you know, just sitting down to be like, all right, I'm going to work. I'm going to create, do it. It might be crap, but you just do it anyway, you know. That could be the start. So you like write crap for 20 minutes, and like you take a break and you're like, all right, then you get back down, you might actually have something good. So just forcing yourself to do it would be the first step of breaking out of a rut. You know, I feel that's the perfectionism in people, you know. I can't think of Fran Lebowitz, the writer, you know, supposed to be like an amazing writer, maybe was early 70s. She's had like a career-long now writer's block of like 30 plus years, you know, and I think she should just be forcing herself to write a little more. Inspiration can come from a lot of places, so it doesn't always have to be me sitting down composing. I could be on stage jamming and then take that and use that as inspiration if like I feel more natural up there. Taking a walk. So many people took walks to think good thoughts, you know, Ben Franklin, Sting, a ton of people. When you're in a rut, just go for a walk, you know, activate that 200,000-year-old freaking activity humans have been doing, and it'll get blood flowing and juices flowing, you know. You know, go see a concert, you know. I've been seeing some more shows lately, and it's been very fulfilling and enriching to be on the other side of the fence and like, yes, this is what loud music sounds like. This is what it's like for the audience to be in the crowd. And, you know, it's given me a perspective, because you can get jaded just from being on one side the whole time and lose sight of what it is that you're doing. So I've been really enjoying going to concerts of all different genres, and just to be like, whoa, look at these fans. You know, I'm stuck in the jam band world all the time, and it's just nice to see other kinds of people. And this is how they get down kind of vibe. So that's always helpful. I love going to art museums. I mean, I love art just in general. So I like looking at, buildings and art, and I like reading books, and I love nature. So I don't know, everything can be an inspiration, really, if you let it, if your heart and soul are open to life, and you want to just process the beauty of life and give it back in your own creative way, kind of vibe.
Mm, yes. Tim, can't wait to see you at Summer Dance, my man. It's going to be
Yes,
awesome. Thank you so much for joining me here.
my
Couple more
pleasure.
questions for you as we're
Yeah,
wrapping
shoot.
up. If there's one lesson or takeaway or mantra from everything you've gone through, everything that you're about, who you are, what would you say that is?
Well, you mentioned the word earlier, and it's a word that I remember learning in martial arts as a kid, and it's in my Facebook profile, so people know who I am, and it's tenacity. I feel like tenacity is everything. It's not an easy business, and you have to love what you're doing, and I absolutely do. I've been playing guitar since I was 4. I've always wanted to play guitar professionally and make it, and have tried multiple different bands, but regardless of our successes and failures, I've always just done nothing but play guitar as hard as I can for anyone who's willing to listen, and hopefully entertain them at the end of it. So tenacity, absolutely.
Mm. And then last question here. For any Lotus fans, Tim fans that have listened this far, any final message you want to leave them off with?
um I love you. I thank you so much for your support, and I mean, it's taken it's been a long road to get here, and I'm happy to be here. It's taken a lot of work to get here, and I'm happy to be here, but now that I'm here, I still have to keep the hard work going to maintain and keep pushing forward. So the fact that so many people are reaching out and expressing their excitement for me and rooting for me, it's been a lot. So I'm just going to keep going. That's it. And I'm looking forward to Summer Dance a lot, because I get to play a solo acoustic set, and it's starting off the whole festival. No pressure. So I'm like, oh, great. I got an hour or 75 minutes to start this fest. This is like 1 year in the making of being in this band. Who am I? Who am I now with Lotus and all that? So talk about writing a perfect set. I'm going to start out with like 40 songs, and then be like, okay, I got to whittle this down, because I can't fit all that music in. However, I will say, knowing me, I'm probably going to try to fit at least 20 songs in 75 minutes. One time I fit 27 Beatles songs in a half hour. So that was cool.
Well, I'll be right there. I'll have my basket of tomatoes front and center.
Nice. Tim, you want an incentive for your perfectionism? Here you go. Hells yeah.
My man, this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Tim.
Pleasure, Cam. Thank you for having me. This was fun.